explain English section today. Now, in English, the paragraph questions are very crucial. Whenever the paragraph questions will come, number one, the best approach is go through the questions and select the question and answer. Search for the key sentences in the paragraph and try to answer such type of questions. Here, the first one, there are 10 questions generally, 10 to 15 questions. I'll explain now for few. The first question here is, which is most nearly the same meaning the word last? I can find here. The good ideas that may have prevented the last crisis, however, can make regulators dangerously overconfident about being able to predict and prevent the next one. The meaning here, the last means the recent crisis. So, the answer to the first question here is option D. And the next question, a third. Choose the word which is most nearly the same meaning in the crowd. Meaning to the crowd given in bold. Okay. Here in the passage. Also, if regulators underwrite certain strategies that seem safe, such as lending to small business, they may encourage banks to crowd into those lines of business. According to that, the crowd here in the sense the bank customers. The bank customers generally they will come to deposit and they will go. They will come for the withdrawal and after getting money they will go. So they are the customers and the moving. And in the options, if you observe, multitude, flock, party, crew, not. So the best answer here is the flock. Generally, flock will use in the flock of birds, the flock of foxes, the pack of fox, like that. Flock here, it's moving condition. The customers generally will move from after having their operations done in banks, they will move away. They won't be there. So here the answer is flock. The seventh question, choose the word which is most nearly the same in meaning to the word limits. In general, before the financial crisis of 2008, the financial sector the world over had been steadily liberalizing limits on foreign ownership of banks and on the kinds of transactions they were able to engage in were being lifted. So here the limits means it's cap. The best answer here is caps. Later error corrections. The 16th one. In the current year, small lenders who global banks have long sneered at are performing more better than the giants. Here we should not use more better, but we should use the central bank has cut its policy repo rate by 50 basis points, but only a few banks has. It's wrong. Few banks have is right answer. Here we should not use. We should use have. Apart for not speaking up. Apart for is wrong. Apart from is right. Apart from is right. With the exception of music, on other industry has embraced globalization as keenly as the banking industry. As keenly as we observe, the as keenly as everybody will say, it's not as keenly as. There is some mistake in here while reading. It should be as keen as. But if you dig in deep, as keenly as is right here, as keenly as the banking industry. No, we are not at all comparing the banking industry or another industry. With the exception of music, no other industry has embraced globalization. Has embraced globalization as keenly as the banking industry has should come here. As keen as has banking industry has should come. The bank's stringent onboarding process for new executives ensures that they understand from other leaders that what it takes to success. Here, the bank's stringent onboarding process for new executives ensures that they understand from other leaders what it takes to success. There is no error here. And the next, CEOs have a lot to worry about, but what are their greatest concerns? And again, CEOs have a lot to worry about. But what are there? If you read from here, what are there? Everybody's thought it's right, but please dig into deep. CEOs have not. We are not at all speaking about the CEOs, but they have a lot to worry. Worry is singular here, to worry about. But what is their greatest concern? That worry is what is their greatest concern. So, or should not come here. In the place of or, we should use is. When business leaders fail to decide and act wisely, their companies suffers is wrong. Their companies suffer is right. We are often blindly to the many forces that create and sustain our behaviors. Here we are often blind to, if you say it's often blind to, but in reality you should please observe even more. We are often as blind to the many forces that create, that refers to the already notated as blinded, as blindly to the many forces. So you should add as before blind. We should add as before blind. I should use as. And the 24th one, Mediclaim policies usually reimburse certain medical expenses and not the out-of-pocket expenses. Here there is no error. The 25th one, its high performance show a stronger tendency to direct their own learning, which may be one of the ways to predict who will be a high performer. If you read thoroughly, high performers show a stronger tendency. Whenever we are using stronger, that word should be in a comparative degree. Even the word is comparative degree, but there is no comparison in that complete sentence. So we should avoid using comparison. It is just enough to write strong, show a strong tendency. ER is not required. Remove ER. In next para jumble sentences, there are few statements, 1, 2, 3, 6 sentences, and we should arrange it properly. See, the para jumbles, the sentences, based on the grammar and based on the meaning, we should divide it, and we can get it, which one is first, which one is next. We can arrange it properly based on the first words. Please observe here, but the conventional wisdom, wisdom never be the first statement. That has to be after, later one, and even not the last one. It has to be in the middle. The assumption, the assumption, the is a definite article. The definite article will be already, if anything is predefined, then that should be pointed out by using the definite article the. So the assumption is not the first one, it has to be later one. Consider all the interactions, large scale increases in forest cover. That means, considering all means it has to be the last but one or last one. The fourth one, deforestation accounts for about 20% of global emissions of carbon dioxide. Yes, this can stand on its own, so I can use it as the first statement. Okay. Deforestation accounts for about 20% of the global emission of carbon dioxide. Then the next statement has to be, the assumption is the planting trees. The second statement has to be the assumption. So it can be the second statement in the order of preference.